Martin.
Present.
Council Thomas.
Present.
Council Lewis.
Present.
Council Jordan.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there a motion to amend
Yes.
the agenda, please?
Madam Chairman, I move to amend the regular council meeting agenda as follows. One, for it to reflect legislation. Next, minutes to be approved. Next, reports and announcements from the mayor. Next, receipts of communication and petitions. Next, proclamations and reports of council. Next, bids. Next, remarks and requests of the public, and then adjournment.
It's been moved and properly second that we amend the agenda as follows to go in this order: legislation, minutes to be approved, reports and announcements of the mayor, receipts of communications and petitions, proclamations and reports of council, bids, remarks, and requests of the public, and adjournment. Is there a second? It's been second, okay. It's been moved and properly second. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Council Martin.
Yay.
Council Thomas.
Yay.
Council Lewis.
Yay.
Council Jordan.
Yay. The yeas have it. The motion carries. And I'd like to acknowledge that Councilman Mansell Baker has acknowledged that he'll be here shortly. And so I'm going to do minutes to reflect that as well. So we'll now move to legislation, please.
Ordinance number 4513, an ordinance to make appropriations of various funds for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of East Cleveland for this period between January 1st, 2014 and December 31st, 2014, and declaring an emergency in order to assure funding for police and fire services as of April 1st, 2014.
Resolution ordinance number 4513 has been acknowledged. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, I'm going to pass the gavel on to Council Vice President Chantel C. Lewis.
Dr. Jordan, ordinance 45-1 prepares unanimous.
I'll move for ordinance number 4513 and move for its adoption.
I second the motion.
So moved and properly second. Any discussions at this particular time?
I would simply assert, if I might,
Sorry, I didn't see. I'm like, I thought you was Dave Moran. I said, wait a minute, you changed your voice. Ms. Brown, Director Brown.
again, I reported to the council at least one opinion with regard to this particular ordinance, and a second one this evening. To act on this particular motion, which would provide annual appropriations prior to the first Monday in the coming year, I would offer my strenuous objection to it. Of course, obviously, council has its own prerogative, but everything that I've researched with regard to voting on the annual appropriation prior to the first Monday of the year would be inappropriate. On the other hand, a temporary appropriation may be in order to carry us forward into the coming year and to pay the employees as well as vendors.
Are you done?
Yes.
Councilwoman Parker, Thomas.
Just one more question for the director and mobility. You said you've done a lot of research and so forth and so on. Could you give me a in the ordinance or in the I'm sorry, where it fills up right here, where you're pulling from?
Well, I provided, I'll just read.
It's in
It's
your
in-
packet.
I didn't read that.
It's in your packet. On top of the legislation.
Yes,
4513.
we received it. What time did you receive this? I know I got an email about 5 o'clock, almost 4:53. Am I correct? I don't know if I can see you.
For point of information, Director Riley stated he had issued an email which was forwarded to council. In fact, that email went directly to council and to the council office to summarize what he basically put into that opinion, and also cited those various sections of the charter that Council Thomas has had.
Yeah, and once again, I'm gonna, and I know that, and I'm aware of that. I'm just gonna add to that that we received the today at 4:53 today.
There was also an opinion forwarded to you.
Yeah, before. Mhm.
Yes.
But the rationale, and I'm kind of looking at the rationale in your opinion, was also, again, forwarded to us today at 4:53.
Really, the rationale is, see your own section 61.
Mhm. Which was, again, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm just saying, it gives, because the first time you provided to it, it was like somehow, it was like last week, and the rationale behind it in reference to your opinions and into more elaborations was given to us today, again, at 4:53 p.m. Are there any other discussions? Councilman Martin, do you have any other discussion at this present time?
No, I will say that, for the record, back in 2002, going into the year 2003, when I was on council,
Yes.
we passed a permanent appropriation, okay? And I will say for the public, section 60 and 61 covers a lot of things that have not been filed. Have not, a lot of things in terms of publications, 300 things that should be provided to, we can go on and on and on. But this is the most basic thing that you need to know. This is the mayor's budget that we have not changed, except for one minor thing, and that is that we're not cutting our salaries of our staff. We have two clerks that are performing the job well for 5 individuals, which is not the easiest thing. The mayor has 2 assistants for 1 person, so we're not going to make that cut. The other thing for the record is we have not traveled in 5 or 6 years.
Eight.
We have 8 years, where the other entity travels all the time. We've been frugal. There's nothing, basically this is the mayor's budget, except for we're not going to cut our people. So I just wanted to state that for the record. There's a lot more I could say, but basically, for the record, this is the mayor's budget after we're not cutting our people. We're not cutting their salaries at all. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Okay. And one more thing I want to put in as a conversation. You stated, Martin, that the section 61 does have a lot of different descriptions of how the budget is supposed to be. We've had, I'm going to say at least, I've been on here since 2010, I remember seeing one line item budget, which by the charter, we're supposed to have a line item budget.
I will not speak to what's in section 60. I'm simply saying to you in section 61, clearly the code says that it is not to be acted on, the annual appropriation is not to be acted on until after the first Monday in January. Beyond that, you're left to act as you please, but the fact of the matter is that it's subject to, obviously, legal assertion.
Okay, and again, and I'm not trying to fake you, but my question would be, if you're saying that, and I'm reading it, what about the line item budget? If we're going to follow the law to the T, if we're not going to make any flexibility, I'm not trying to say we're not following the law or following the law, why is it that since 2010, when we received one line item budget, 2011 we had the discussion, 2012 we had a discussion, now we're having a discussion again. Why is it that we don't have a line item budget in front of us?
I cannot speak for the mayor. I speak only for the law department.
But
And let me finish. May I finish? I researched the issue. I gave you my opinion. I cannot speak for how the mayor conducts his portion of this.
Okay, I understand.
I don't even speak for council as to how you conduct yourself.
Okay.
I simply give you the opinion. In this particular instance, I'm saying to you that should you act on the annual appropriation at this date, it is premature and is subject to legal qualifications, and which means basically that that period, that interval from this time or at least from 31st. So at least when you're supposed to act on the annual budget, you're going to have problems paying the employees as well as benefits. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and I guess I'm coming back and I'm asking the same question again. Okay, you've given us one opinion about passing the appropriation. So that I am clear, if that's the case, now I'm asking you your opinion. What about the line item budget? Is it appropriate at this point, since we do not have a line item? I mean, this just opened the Pandora's box here. Is it appropriate at this point to pass this particular budget and it's not a line item budget? I'm just asking your opinion.
That is not an appropriate opinion from me, simply because, one, I approached this particular question, days ago. That particular question is posed to me at this point, and I haven't even had an opportunity to think about that. And I wouldn't render an opinion on that unless I would have the opportunity to even research that particular question.
May I speak, please?
Council, please come forward.
My name is Irene Cole, Director of Finance for the City of East Cleveland. Just a couple comments. I too sent an email last Friday upon receiving this information that we would have a problem because of the charter and the dates that were listed for approval. Also, we heard a lot of generalities about what we did not do and did do. It would be very helpful if there could be some proof to that effect. We're hearing general statements. But if they want to go line by line for item 60, we could do that, and I think a lot of that would be disproved. Also, there were 6 items that were changed from the mayor's estimate to this budget tonight. I think I heard that there was only one thing that was changed. There were 6 items that were changed. Line item is basically upon definition. We base the budget upon the definition as set forth by the Budget Cuyahoga County Commission. There is a line item budget, so it depends on the definition, okay? But I just want to make clear there's 6 items. One, a very important, where the electric for the street lighting was cut. That's a set bill. It's not a variable. We do not control that. It's sent from the electric company. The budget was cut. Also, central services which affect our utilities, those are 2 key items that were cut, amongst other things. But those 2, I think, should be given some consideration, especially, and also to note that there was communication last week as it relates to the first Monday. My experience as a finance director in the municipality is that if we don't have a budget in place on January the 1st, City Hall basically has to shut down. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Is there any other remarks? Council President Dr. Curley.
Good evening, everyone. A great deal of time has been spent towards this budget that's presented here today. I can say that in many instances, the administration in its totality was not present, not even the mayor of this city, as he clearly is not here today representing the city's interests. Council has done its due diligence in passing a budget reflected on the numbers that have been presented to council. It's been stated and it's been misconstrued that council, we're not nitpicking, but you may want to twist the words, but the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that what's been offered to council is approximately a little over $12 million. We did not alter the dollars much except to speak on behalf of council and say that you will not diminish or take away the dollars allocated towards our city council staff and the issues surrounding bringing new individuals and the need to have our monies left in its whole. We've made some adjustments. We have reductions that's evidenced itself when you look clearly at the dollars presented today. You also know that council did not show any malice. We presented what was presented to council with the modification of placing and keeping this council whole. You'll also see the council, the appropriations reflect that the mayor's budget is $6,000 higher than council's budget. There's been no attempt to do any harm to anyone, merely to stay within the boundaries that's been presented to council. Again, we've been presented information, legal opinion at the 11th hour, today, last week, relative to this budget. We're not disagreeing with any of that. You've also heard, not new revelation, but the fact is that we have a gentleman here who has history, Councilman Nathaniel Martin, whom brought to light to you. Many of you all have been here a long time and been in this community. You all are diehards that come to council meetings. You are aware that this is not, and I repeat, not the first time that a permanent budget has been passed here in the city of East Cleveland. We are going to move forward. The city will remain whole. You will have the dollars needed to function. You also know that amendments can be made. You do that all the time. So if there needs to be an amendment, we'll do so. But I imagine the amendment will be that there's less money in this budget than what's been projected. And it has been that way in the entire 8 years we've serving as your council. We have said all along that the expenditures are exceeding the revenue brought in the city. And today you have a budget presented that very much matches a budget presented a year ago. This is where we are now. We started here with $17 million in the general fund. Now we're down to $12 million. And it's not going to, I imagine, change much because of the economy and how we continue to do business. And it was also stated by our law director, and I probably should say, let me remove the law director, but let me say it was stated that we will have some difficulty paying our bills. We clearly see that today. We don't have enough revenue. There are bills that have not been paid on a monthly basis, and there are vendors that have not been paid. So, you know, again, this budget isn't going to impact that. It's a practice that, unfortunately, because of the state of our city budget now, it's just the money isn't there. So I think we need to move forward. Councilman Mansell Baker is here. Do you have anything to say? And it's not my meeting.
It is. Let me just say this, and I'm going to piggyback on you, Dr. Jordan. I'm going to say, if you look at the estimate, we're giving $12 million. Last year, we wanted $12 million, but guess what? We were on the news for asking for $12 million. Because we were conservative back then, and now we're conservative back now. And not to mention that I'm not saying that we have 12 million, we're estimating 12 million, where we'll probably pull off 9 this year. We probably pull off 9 because I think some of it, we have the ATS, and they said they're going to get $1 million from the red light traffic cameras, and we only pulled in $500,000. And there's some other things that we have not pulled in money from. So, with that said, I think $12 million is reasonable. I think that we asked for $12 million last year on the news, history, every December we go on the news about the budget. So with that said, Councilman Mansell Baker, do you have anything to say? I'm going to call for the roll. Okay, here we go. Please call for the roll.
Council Baker? Yay. Council Martin?
Yay.
Council Thomas?
Yay.
Council Lewis?
Yay.
Council Jordan?
Yay.
The yeas have it. I'm going to pass the gavel back to Dr. Jordan.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Baker. Happy New Year. He's at work today. Thank you. I love you. I recently had surgery, ladies and gentlemen, and they brought me out of my bed to pass this vote, and I want to say it's been an honor serving, and I'm going to have to be dismissed along with my colleague. I'm under doctor's care. The surgery has prevented me really from doing much, and this is really my first day outside a medical appointment. So have a blessed holiday. It's been, again, an honor to serve. Thank you.
Okay, we want to move on to the minutes to be approved. Minutes to be approved.
Madam Chair, I will move that we approve the executive committee meeting budget hearing, dated November 25th, 2013.
I second the motion.
It's been moved properly second. Discussion. Please call for the roll.
Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Thomas,
Yay.
Counselor Lewis.
Yay. Yeas have it, motion carries.
Madam Chairman, I move that the executive committee meeting budget hearing dated November 26, 2013 be approved.
Second.
It's been moved properly second. Any discussion? Call for the roll, please.
Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Thomas,
Yay.
Counselor Lewis.
Yeas have it, motion carries. Minutes are approved. We're going on to this, third item, minutes on the agenda.
Madam Chairman, I move that the regular council meeting dated December 30, 2013 be approved.
Any second? Second. Been moved properly second. Any discussion? Call for the roll, please.
Counselor Baker, Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Thomas,
Yay.
Counselor Lewis.
Yeas have it. Motion carries. Reports and announcements from the mayor. Director Rowley, do you have anything to report from the mayor? Guess we're gonna pause a little bit and kind of, because we gotta wait for, Mr. Ellington to read the receipts and communications into the record, I guess, after the receipts and communications and petitions into the record.